Let's graph another exponential function. F of x is equal to 3 raised to the x plus 4. So we're going to need a little xy table. And you may recall that f of x is just another fancy name for y. So we're going to have y raised to a power, so we need an xy table. Now I'm not going to use my typical numbers that I love, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, because I'm going to remember that inside stuff that we did with our absolute values and our radicals. So the number I want in my middle of my list is a -4. And a little smaller is -5 and -6. A little larger is -3 and -2. And so these are the numbers that I'm going to put back into the original equation for x. So 3 raised to the -6 plus 4 is the same thing as 3 raised to the -2. And that is 1/9. So now we're going to put -5 back into the original equation. And that is 3 raised to the -1 power. A negative exponent is a reciprocal, so that's 1/3. So now we're going to put -4 into the equation, and that's 3 raised to the 0 power, which is 1. So in the original equation we will put a -3. -3 plus 4 is +1. 3 raised to the +1 power is 3. So if we put in that last number from our xy table, we have 3 raised to the -2 plus 4, which is 3 raised to the 2nd power, which is 9. So let's try and graph this. At -6, well, we're off the graph. We're at 1/9. That's pretty hard to graph anyhow. But at -5, we're at 1/3. At -4, we're at 1. And at -3, we're all the way up here at +3. And at -2, we're way up there off the graph at +9. So you can see which way this is curving. And we have our exponential graph. Now again, there's no way for anyone to know that this is not going to continue to go down and down and down unless we put in the asymptote. The way we can find the asymptote is we look for the constant number added outside of the exponent. And since there's no number here, we could add in 0. And then we can see that our asymptote is again here on the x-axis. And I need to make sure I can see your asymptote. So if it blends in too much with your grid, make it really dark and really thick. And make sure it's a broken line. It does not exist. It's just a guide to let us see where this exponential graph is going.